Okay, so did you both write the script beforehand and give it to Karan Johar, or was it vice versa? Did he commission you?
No, so the way it works is Karan's kind of really family. So he's at all times aware of what we're doing, but I don't like to share anything unless I have a draft that I think is in a place to be shared. So that's how we work. We finish a draft, then we give it to close friends and Karan. We get their feedback, then we do another draft, then we give it to them again. And generally you have like 3 rounds till the time, I think we get happy by the 3rd draft.
So how many drafts did Kapoor and Sons go through?
Many.
Not too many, I lost count.
I mean, I would say if I had to consider like at least like the big complete revisions, then maybe about 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Okay. And were there any Karan's inputs?
Yeah, at all times.
every
You see,
stage,
at
yeah.
everyone. Like
Can you give me an example?
I mean, it's really like I think we talk about each and everything, and like we just keep going back and forth. It's tough. I can't even say what did she give
Yeah,
me, and
I
I
can
mean,
tell
it
you.
becomes by the end of it. By the time you finish,
Yeah.
there's so many things that have gone in.
You actually lose perspective about who gave what in there because you're just, you know, constantly revising stuff and changing stuff.
But he's great. I tell you, the thing I love about Karan is that his feedback always comes from a very emotional, instinctive place, and he's amazing also to really, and he gets into it, and he'll give you a very emotional feedback. Oh, this mother's journey, this, and then he completely leaves it up to you to figure out.
Also, I feel with Karan, the amazing thing is very often people can find problems with the script, but they can't give you solutions.
Yeah.
Karan will give you 20 options, which really helps, you know, kind of gets you thinking, mind
But
thinking.
sometimes do you argue, okay, no way, we don't care.
No, but
There's
he
no need to
doesn't
argue. Yeah,
force
he's not
you at all.
forceful
He's
at
always
all.
like, listen, this is what I think. Now you go figure out how you're going to solve it. So I know that Kapoor and Sons' first draft, maybe even like the first draft, the last 30 pages we've rewritten completely, 30, 40 pages. And I know we had a long meeting with Karan, our friend Avantika, Imran, and we were all trying to come up with different ways of having a new end to the film. And eventually, you know, it turned into completely a different thing.
Okay, do you think the Rajat Kapoor character had to die?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Did you have any
Yes.
thoughts about this?
Yes. We
Yeah,
had
we
originally
originally Rishi sir
killed
dies.
Rishi Kapoor.
Okay, so what made you switch the deaths?
We felt very strongly that when we had written Rishi Kapoor dying, the thing was when a person's old and he has a natural death, you know, just age related, it's not really a wake up call for people. Because you were anyway, I mean, with age you're expecting it. When someone in their prime dies, it kind of wakes you up and makes you realize, shit, that's so final. And you feel, you suddenly start re-looking at life, you start re-looking at relationships, you start re-looking at things that are petty and not petty, and you start realizing what is really important in life. So Rajat, even though he had messed up in such a big way by having the affair and everything, in the larger picture, he was only human. And
What do you think about the use of coincidences in the film? Like, you know, the character of Fawad Khan sees the car parked outside, and so the whole thing explodes. So, are you for coincidences?
But I'll tell you. So I am for coincidence if they are believable coincidence. Now, Fawad sees the car, but he notices because it's a bank car. They'd hit the car the night before, so it's easier to notice because in Kunur you will not just read a number plate and stop. It was completely hit from the front.
Right.
So when he notices, he realizes, oh, I banged this car last night.
secondly, Kunur is also a very small place.
Yeah.
It's not like Bombay
So-
where you're driving around, you know. The houses, the lanes, the way the Kunur is, it's a small town. So it's definitely not a large
You were
city
there,
where-
you know how Kunur is.
Yeah.
Tell me one thing, if you were driving a car night before and you banged it, and next morning, if you saw it, you'll stop. You know, it's not a city which is so crowded. There are only that
right.
many.
Okay, so I'll give you
So-
the benefit of
yeah.
that doubt. What about that same gender relationship? Did you try to get it so subtle that at points it wasn't explicated? Like even when we see Fawad and the person he's in
Yeah.
love with, it's a very distant shot.
Yes.
So was it to be subtle or not controversial?
Both. I think 2 things. One, I was tired of the way gay people had been caricaturized in our films. And I really wanted to go completely the other way and say that, listen, we can tell stories about them without being trying to sensationalize it. So I think a place where where I was coming from was that I didn't want to sensationalize it. I didn't want to sell the film on that basis alone.
It wasn't about a guy coming out of the closet.
Right.
So that was one thing for sure. And I think the easiest way to have people change their mind is give it to them in a way that is palatable to them. So, you know, if I kept using the word gay or homosexual and trying to sensationalize it, it will actually go against what I wanted to do. I wanted families to come in and realize, listen, this is how it is.
And that's what happened. We were surprised. A lot of people who watched the film, who's like, there were mothers who said stuff like, okay, if tomorrow my son was gay, I feel after watching this film, I feel maybe I would deal with it a little differently today. I realize it's not so bad. I realize it's not his fault. That was the idea behind it.
Okay. Was there any kick-off point for the story?
Yeah. I think she had a germ for the story, which is let's make a story about siblings where one is the perfect sibling for the parents and the other one's the imperfect one. And I think that's really
preferential treatments in families. So I thought of a sibling story. I said, let's do something on a brother-sister story where one is preferred over the other, you know.
Right.
And then we love dysfunctional families because, I mean, every family today, honestly, if you get into them, every family is dysfunctional in its own way.
So are there shades of any members of your family in the film?
Yeah.
Who?
Everyone.
Give me an example. I mean, I have to
my
know.
family-
No, I
way too
felt
happy.
most of these emotions.
Whom did you feel closest to? Or
My
like,
sister always feels like I'm the preferred child and she doesn't get the same
why?
importance.
Because you're a male.
No, my mother I'm the youngest one. So my mother has always just like showered a lot of love on me. So I felt that while growing because a lot of times she'll just bring it up and like, because I just went to film school and you know my mom was like, let him go to film school, and she could not go, and then she didn't go by the end of it, and she held it against my parents for a long time. So I know those kind of things can play really a big thing in your psyche. Those were the things, you know, of course you've seen your parents fight. I mean, the thing is, I've seen family fights, and when I was writing and directing this, I really wanted fights to feel real, because the thing is, otherwise they're always like two people standing in a room and just shouting at each other, but you know, nothing else it doesn't feel real. The chaos doesn't feel real, the madness of it doesn't feel real. You know, when you're in your house, you generally are finishing work while you're fighting, and I wanted that kind of chaos to come through, you know, so that's what we were
Ayesha,
working
any
on.
member of your family there?
My family is a very happy family. We're very opinionated, so we fight a lot.
So are you the preferred child? Or?
No, my parents are quite fair, surprisingly. I don't know, my sister will agree with that. But no, they're very fair. I think the grandfather would come closest to my family because we're all crazy. You know, Parsis in general are crazy. So
Why do you say that?
we are a crazy lot. I mean, we don't have boundaries, I feel sometimes.
Okay.
Like you come for a family party, we have, I mean, people playing the guitar and we have people singing, and I mean, there's always a theme at our family parties. So I feel like that definitely, I mean, the grandfather's craziness and the way he just like shoots his mouth off is something that every family member of mine over the generations would be doing.
So is the grandfather a synthesis of your grandparents?
No, for me actually he would be an amazing grandfather to have, and he's
My grandfather was amazing. Yeah, he was fun and always, I mean,
But we all love our grandparents. We have a
push the
special
envelope.
regard,
Like
right?
we'd stay over at his
Yeah.
place because we didn't have a
But he
curfew
didn't
with
smoke.
him.
My grandparents didn't smoke or
My
drink
grandfather
with me,
smoked.
so I like that idea of, you know, like
My grandfather smoked that.
old old man just smoking a doobie with his grandparents.
You were smoking marijuana in the film, right? Okay, so I remember coming to Kunu to see
Right.
the shoot, and Rishi Kapoor was blowing his stack because you took too many takes and all that. So was it a pleasure or a bit of a pain to deal with him?
In retrospect, it was all worth it. I think he and I had differences. He and I had arguments, and then I think now we are just really good friends. And he's been very gracious. I mean, I only have gratitude and, you know, for everything he did for the film. And he was extremely gracious to, you know, just go out there and be like, you know, we had fights and maybe we didn't see the same way, but he's happy with the way film has turned out. I'm happy with his performance, and I think
It's a
let
different
bygones be
school, a
bygones.
different time of filmmaking.
Yeah,
I
you know,
feel.
we're just coming from completely different schools of filmmaking. Like, I'm not coming from a place where it's wide mid-close. You know, I want everyone in the room to be in their character at all times, so I can move the camera from one face to the other anytime I want.
But you take too many shots,
I do.
right?
Yeah.
Like from every
Yes.
conceivable
But I use all
angle.
of them. So if you see the plumber fight, or if you see when these people are coming, the thing is, as I said, I wanted to give that sense of chaos that families have when they're together, and you can't give that sense of energy and chaos by just keeping in 1 or 2 shots. You want to show like 5 things are happening in the room at the same time, while the grandfather is talking to the kid, the mother is trying to sort out the kitchen, the father is trying to, so you have to show that chaos, and then to design that chaos, you just need to, go with the flow and do a lot of
So
stuff.
there has to be a method in the chaos.
Yes.
So did you take any of Rishi Saab's
I loved
anger?
him. I loved him. I remember one time.
So were you cushioned?
No, he doesn't
in
shout
between?
at
No, he didn't
girls.
never shout at me. He
He
was
doesn't
lovely
shout
with
at
me.
girls.
One time I remember I was also the hairstylist in the film. So at one point I remember I had my headphones on behind the monitor, and then I wanted to fix his wig. So I ran quickly and I fixed the wig, and he used to keep forgetting that I've also written the film. So he would look at me and be like, "Why do you need headphones to fix my hair?" And I'd be like, "Sir, I've also written the film." Really? Then what dialogue did I say wrong in the last bit? So I said, actually, every line was not correct. Then why didn't you correct me? So I said, because the gist was there. So what we wanted to say, fantastic, this new form of filmmaking. And this point in time, he'd appreciate it, and he'd give you a pat on the back. So he was lovely.
Okay, is there a shade of Monsoon Wedding in this movie?
Yeah, I'm a big
He's a big
fan of Monsoon Wedding. I think it's not in the plot, or it's not in. I think there are only that many family films in this tonality, and Monsoon Wedding does fall in that category of
Treatment.
that Indian family, the way I wanted to treat it. But I think that just comes from my love for it. It's just like my love of these films, my love of, Woody Allen films, of Monsoon Wedding. It just seeps in. It's not something that I like try and imitate, it just comes in.
Okay, so all the best for the fighting
Thank
and
you.
the creativity. So congratulations
so much.
on winning
Thank
the
you very
Spotboy
much.
Award
Thank
for
you
the
very much.
best story for
Yeah.
Kapoor and Sons.
Thank
How
you.
sweet, thank you.
Thank you very much.
I was tired of the way gay people had been caricaturized in our films, and I really wanted to go completely the other way and say that, listen, we can tell stories about them without being trying to sensationalize it.